Opinion: The transformation of Kim Jong Un's sister. Author explains why Kim Jong Un's sister is the most dangerous woman in the world. CNN: When North Korea leader Kim Jong Un sat down to sign the guest book at the Space Center last week as part of his momentous meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, a young woman casually leaned over his shoulder to read the message. Among the assortment of mostly male officers stiffly clustered around the world leaders, she immediately stood out. The woman was Kim Yo Jong's younger sister of the North Korea leader and one of the country's most important political advisors. Since stepping into the international spotlight in 2018 with the history-making visit to the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, the first member of her family since the end of the Korean War to set foot in the South, she has become a key mouthpiece of the regime. Kim Jong Un's sister stands alongside the North Korean leader at the Vostochny Cosmodrome in the Amur region, Russia, on September 13, 2023, and one with a sharp tongue, as Song Yun Lee, a fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, writes in his new book, The Sister. Kim Yo Jong is her nation's chief censor, spokeswoman, mocker and threat and malice dispenser. CNN Opinion interviewed Song Yun Lee about Kim Yo Jong's remarkable rise in North Korea's highly patriarchal society and how much power she really wields beyond the tough talk. The views expressed here are his own. Read more opinion on CNN. CNN: Of all the members of the Kim dynasty, why did you choose to focus on the Kim Yo Jong in your book? Song Yun Lee: Kim Yo Jong is the first preeminent and powerful female figure to emerge in the brutish, male-dominated political landscape of North Korea, ruled by the Kim family for 75 years. Since 2020, she has governed as the de facto number 2 royal in the dynasty, second only to her brother Kim Jong Un. Young, photogenic, smart, and acerbic, Miss Kim appears to exercise real power with a vituperative vulvar twist. She is prone to making threat of nuclear strike against the South and is undoubtedly the most powerful woman in North Korea today. CNN: What do we know about Kim Yo Jong's early life and her relationship with her brother? Song Yun Lee: The youngest of the 7 children fathered by Kim Jong Il, the previous supreme leader, she has been doted on by her parents from birth. Both the mom and dad reportedly called her sweet princess, and dad had her sit next to him at every family meal, according to a former chef for the family. She spent 4 years of her childhood from about 9 to 13 living with her 2 brothers in Switzerland, Kim Jong Un and Kim Jong Chul, during which time she formed a close bond with Jong Un, the future leader. In North Korea video footage, the Kim siblings are often smiling at each other as if they are reaffirming their bond. Even during her brother's formal event, she insouciantly tends to her own interest in the background, while all other senior officers stand at stiff attention before her brother. Clearly, she occupies the unique position in her nation's hierarchy. CNN: How did the Kim dynasty get started? Song Yun Lee: In the Kim dynasty's official history, Kim Il-sung, state founder and Kim siblings' grandfather, virtually single-handedly liberated the Kim's Korean nation from Japanese colonial rule in 1945. How? By fighting a war of independence from the foothills of Mountain Pak-2, a majesty mountain that straddles the north border with China, and in Korean mythology is the cradle of the ethnic Korean nation. Each widely exaggerated claim, for Kim Il Sung was but a junior officer in the Soviet army who opened Japan's surrender mainly thanks to the U.S. was defeatized by Stalin to be a leader of the communist North. North Korea has politically appropriated this mythology into a Kim's dynasty's very source of legitimacy. That is woven a fictitious narrative that Kim Il Sung is the savior and his progeny are also endowed with such supernatural powers. CNN. In 2018, Kim Jong Un attended South Korea's Winter Olympics with the message of peace. How has her language changed since then? Song Lee. Having charmed much of South Korea as the debutant on the international stage of the Pyeongchang Winter Games in February 2018, she has undergone a character metamorphosis. That is, she has dramatically turned herself from a haughty but not discouraged princess from Pyeongchang to the sometimes foul-mouthed leader of the brutal medieval style absolute monarchy that is her dynasty. South Korean President Moon Jae-in shakes hands with Kim Yo-jong middle North Korean leader Kim Jong Un's sister in 2018. She has ridiculed Seoul's presidential office, variously likening it to the frightened dog barking or idiots who parrot the US and called George Biden senile. This contrast and near absolute power she appears to wield make her a fascinating contemporary political figure. CNN, but is she or talk? What are some examples of the power she wields? Song Lee. In June 2020, she issued a written statement calling on South Korea to pass a new law that criminalized the sending of leaflets, money, medicine, toothpaste, etc. across the border into the north. For decades, defectors and other human rights activists have sent the materials north, usually by balloons. Hours after Ms. Kim's directive, the South said it would comply. The new law was passed that December in the face of the mounting criticism from civic groups within the South and international bodies, including the United Nations. Lord David Arton, the senior member of the British Parliament, called the South's new restoration a gag law. Yet the then South Korean administration enjoying a supermajority in each parliament passed ahead. It is the first successful case of the North extending its stifling censorship across the border into the South, a feat that even Miss Kim's grandfather, father, or brother could not accomplish. That June, she also threatened to blow up the North-South Joint Liaison Office, located just north of the inter-Korean border and built entirely with South Korean funds. Days later, demolished it was. I write about both episodes at some length in the book. CNN. It is so hard to gather information on the family. How did you go about researching your book? Sung Lee, I've studied and thought about North Korea for 20 years. I've read virtually everything that has been published about Kim Jong Un and her family in Korean, including North Korean sources, Chinese and English. I've watched hundreds of hours of North Korean footage and read thousands of North Korea articles and statements in writing this book. And I've interviewed folks who have met Kim Jong Un and also former senior North Korean officials who have defected. CNN, what might the future hold for Kim Jong Un? Does the power inevitably shift to the next generation after her brother, Song Yu Lee? By convention, the power should shift to one of Kim Jong Un's children instead of his sibling. But Kim Yo Jong, as the borderly assertive sister of the supreme leader, is the novelty. What lies in her future? Will she ever assume the top leadership? It is a question to which there cannot be a firm answer. But it is not entirely unreasonable one either. Memories of the wakeful, nipping winter of 2013, when the Kim siblings had their uncle Jang So-taek publicly humiliated and killed, underline the ruthlessness of the regime. Her dynasty, after all, is the strangest on earth.